recording, what's your tag and how long you've been playing?
My tag is Sampop. I've been playing for I think it's been a year seriously now. I grew up with the game and all that, but seriously,
Yeah.
for a year, yeah.
And what's like your goal right now?
Pretty much, I think what I wrote in the goal section on Metafy. It's basically that I think I play mostly unconsciously, or I don't really know what to be looking for during a set, or within the matchup, and yeah, I'm just not really aware of how to play consciously, I'm not exactly sure what to look for. I think most of what I do is by habit or by copying what I see on games that I watch. Goals would be mostly that, become conscious of how I play and how others play also, so I can adapt to them. And of course, always correcting bad habits and change them. I think that would be it mostly. These are the things I like to work on.
Yeah, okay. So you had like a lot of stuff on the Metafy, so do you want to like start with some questions?
Yeah, well, the thing is, I plan on taking more courses with you if it goes well. I mean, I just wanted to try it because it's the first time I take a course through Metafy, so I just didn't know how it worked.
Yeah.
But if it's good for me, I might take more. So that's why I put like a couple of things that I would like to work on, so we can choose what's the best thing to work on for that first session. And then I'd plan to keep going on with the courses with you if it's fine for both of us.
Yeah, that makes sense. So do you want to start with games, or do you want to like talk about like what you're thinking about?
No, I mean, I think we can play. Yeah, I'd like to play. I think it's easier for me because sometimes I just have trouble explaining what I try to figure out in the games. It's not always clear how to explain it for me yet. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Alright, so in terms of Puff in general, she's very slow, right? So you kind of have to make like a really aggressive opener. And what I mean by that is you can't really do these types of like backers in the corner, which like they don't really like accomplish that much. It's more about like you're kind of protecting yourself. But what you could have done here instead is like go back like right here. Once the game starts, you could just like jump off the platform and like throw out like a back air or something like that. And then if Falco like lasers, you can hit Falco for lasering. You could also jump over the laser and also jump under it as well too. That would be a good opener. Another one you could do like shield drop falling up air. That would be pretty good too, because that could potentially catch like a run off the platform down air, which the back air might lose to. This is like an in general for like every matchup. It's not just for Falco. It's really good. But yeah, I don't really like this type of like gameplay. I have a very like how do I say it? I have a very like biased view against camping. I don't think it's like, and that's kind of what this is, or just like kind of nothing. I don't really think it's that good, especially when you're like first starting out, because you're not gonna learn that much. Like I don't know if you saw like Hbox versus Leffen at Genesis. Like that type of stuff I would never recommend anyone to ever do when they're any lesson. I'm just never gonna recommend that. It's just like you're not learning the game, and like Hbox is okay with doing that because he's learned the approaching for like that long, and he just knows that like Leffen's gonna get tilted, so it'll work out. But I don't think this is like very productive, especially in like Falco matchup. Falco can literally just full hop and reach you with like just a single full hop, whereas other characters can't do that. Like if you're playing against Sheik or something, like technically you're safe here, right? But you're not like getting anything, or you're just only exclusively putting yourself in like in a disgusting spot where you have to like land on a platform and like reset your jumps. So I don't really like this type of gameplay in general. Okay, so this back air right here is completely fine. This is like a controlling back air or like protecting your space, whereas these ones, like there was no way a character could have hit you besides like Falco full hopping like at the end there. So like this type of backer is completely fine. Falco could jump into it and you could backer them, so I'm fine with this backer. That's fine. Landing on the side platform is really good. In general, whenever you can land on the side platform, I would just recommend doing it if it's free. What I mean by that is there's no like way there's any character that can hit you on the side platform. Yeah. Like sometimes you will have to take risks and like land on the side platform when like a character can hit you, like a Fox's Nair or something like that. But it's more about like calculation, like, oh, they haven't done this Nair into the side platform at all, so they probably won't do it against me. Yeah. So it's important. I don't really like just like doing this type of jump. It was really awkward. I would just do a shield drop or drop through or wave land off, either of those three. Doing these types of like jumps off the platform is more about like approaching with a jump or doing like a jump like a full hop jump away, which is like kind of like it's like awkward, so I don't really recommend doing it. But yeah, I don't really like this at all. A big thing about melee in general is like knowing your percent and also your opponent. It's pretty big with Jigglypuff compared to most characters because she has like an auto kill move with rest, whereas the other characters don't. So when I'm playing against Falco, for instance, I know that before like I think it's literally 22%. I know that Falco's down airs are going to knock me down. And the only way that they can avoid death right now is to down air shine, which this Falco does not. So basically, whenever you get down aired before 22% against Falco, you can just literally try and mash grab, and maybe you can kill them. You could also potentially try and mash rest if they like down air on top of you too. And that's completely fine, especially at like this level. That'll just work.
You mean when I'm shielding?
No, just like getting hit by it's not gonna knock you down, like send you into a knockdown situation. Yeah.
Okay, just take the hit and then.
Yeah.
Then grab. Okay.
Yeah, it's not like I'm not saying like you should like try and get hit here, but because you did, you can just grab out of this. So that's just big. Yeah, defensively in terms of percents is really important. Like knowing your like up throw up air percents against like Fox, like oh I'm at like 55 on Pokemon Stadium, I can die to up throw up air right now. Or like I'm at like 68% on Dreamlight, I can die. Like these types of percents are really good defensively, but in terms of like offense, like once I get this Nair right now, obviously like I'm saying click grab here, but because you got a Nair, you have more options now, which is kind of how Jigglypuff works. The more percent she has, the more options she has to kill you. And when you're at 12% against Falco, then you can use Pound, which you don't use like at all, like in neutral, which was really interesting to me. I was curious what you're thinking on that. But
yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure about that game. Maybe I can come back to it after we watch the whole game. But I usually use it. Maybe it's just that game specifically that I didn't use it for some reason that I don't see right now. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it's like basically Pound is really good once you get past like a certain percent threshold. So against Falco, it's 4%, I think. So then it starts knocking down. That's why I see Hbox go for literally one back air against Fox Falco players and just start spamming Pound in neutral.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's really good risk reward wise. What were you saying?
Yeah. Okay. I was saying I think this game was part of a set on ranked, and I think it's like the second or the third one, and I remember I would get punished a bit for pounding before, so that's why I might have stopped using it.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, still might be some ways to use it anyway.
Yeah, it's like the main ways usually you get pounds in general are like shield dropping, or you do like waveland off the platform into pound. Those are like the main two mix-ups. Sometimes you can pound just like short hop or full hop pound from the ground. I don't like it, but at this level I'm down to throw it out because if I hit it, they will literally miss the tech and likely die. So to a jab reset rest or just a raw rest too. So yeah, if you use pound in other games, then I guess it's just a fluke game. But yeah, now it's 12%. You have pound. You still have grab. Grab is like your universal like kill confirm. It's like the only thing you have at like 0% versus like Spacies. And then you potentially are starting to get to the point where you have up air. Up air is really good, which you also didn't really use that much. You used it, I think, literally one time.
I'm so comfortable with up airs, so that's why I'm not using it yet.
Makes
but I'm
sense.
working on it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like once you get to 18% versus Falco, then you can start using up air a bunch. It's like
You said 18 or 18?
yeah, 18.
18. Okay.
Yeah,
Pretty
it's
low.
like yeah, up air is really low, pound's really low, and those are like your main two like starting like moves to use a bunch. Like I'm not exclusively saying like spam these options, but you kind of can sometimes get away with it. If you've ever seen like Hungrybox versus like a Falcon player, he just is literally just like 100 up airs in a row once it like knocks down at like 22%, and it's insane.
And
yeah.
And so how would you use the up airs mostly? I guess when he's in the air, but can you use the falling up air also? Is that pretty risky?
In general, how up air works is you want to use a rising up air, like using an up air with your jump, when you are reading a jump from the other player, or you're trying to like, I guess, how do I describe it? Or you're trying to shark in general, like them trying to jump out of something like that. And then using falling up air is essentially when you're trying to beat a move, because of the disjoint on Puff's up air. You have to use a falling up air mostly. So let's say a Falco is falling on top of you with a down air, you want to use a falling up air instead of a rising up air in order to beat that. So that's like the distinction. And also like falling up air is pretty good to use. Like you go for like a back air here, and then you fall on top of Falco or any character with a falling up air, and that's like a setup, because that'll catch like rolls sometimes. They'll catch them jumping, and so if they aren't crouch canceling the up air, then they can get rested. That's like that's another big confirm. But yeah, it's like Puff is so percentage based that you kind of have to be paying attention a lot. It's like that's what you're saying about like not being like very conscious, and that's like probably like one of the biggest things like to learn to like start getting conscious. You don't really have to like be like exact on percent ranges and stuff like that. Like I don't even like know most of the percents, but I just know like around this percent, oh, my back air starts knocking down, so then I have more options again. And that's just really important. Also, you're like you should definitely like be grinding where L cancels, because you like miss like a ton. So it's like
I know.
And in general, when you're nairing, you should not really doing this type of like L cancel nair. Nair is really good because of the auto cancel, but in terms of the L cancel, it doesn't really get you that much. Whereas doing like a forward air is like the same type of reward, and also gets you more because it knocks down a lot earlier. Whereas Nair does not knock down that very early. That's the problem. So yeah, it's like there's only like one situation you'd ever use like this type of Nair, and it's just like not even worth discussing. It's just like so kind of, it's like troll, honestly. Okay. In terms of grabs with Puff, so there's like a couple different ways to get grabs. I don't like this type of grab at all, because basically the other character has way too much time to get out of the situation, and that's a big thing in terms of Puff in general, is that again she's very slow. So whenever you get into these types of situations that are scrambles, and like potentially you could maybe grab someone, but they probably have enough time to escape it, then you have to think about how do they escape the grab. And in this spot, Falco escapes the grab by jumping. He can spot dodge, he can shield, which doesn't escape grab but escapes other options, and then he can also roll, or his main ones, or you can try and shine, but that doesn't really work. So he jumps. So when I'm in this spot, when I know my grab is going to be too slow, then I'm going to be hard reading another option like jump. So I will, instead of doing a grab, I'll just do like a rising up air and then just catch his jump.
Okay, I see.
And then if he spot dodges, like I could hard read rest that, or I could just wait out the spot dodge and grab as the more safer option. And if he rolls, then I hard read the roll with rest or forward smash or dash check or something like that. But yeah, that's just like the first part about grab. The second part is like you kind of have to earn them, unfortunately. Like sometimes you'll see Hbox just like get a shield grab, and it feels like, man, that's kind of just how the game works, right? It's like there's a lot of risk reward that he's playing into by using shield grab a bunch, and like I don't recommend like, how do I say it? I hate the concept of risk reward in terms of shield grabs a lot of the time, because people are getting so good that the risk reward is getting worse and worse in terms of shield grabs. Not as many people are missing L cancels, and they're spacing better and stuff like that. So I don't really like say like, yeah, you should shield grab over and over again. I just like getting grabs in terms of like wave dash back. Let's say Fox is going for like a short hop Nair and you're right here. You wave dash back outside of the Nair range, or also you could potentially be like crouching or ASDI down as well too, in the middle of your wave dash, and also just hold down in the middle of it and grab them from it as well too. That will happen at times, but that's like an earned grab or a shield grab, and these types of grabs are like unearned because like it's kind of like dependent on your opponent messing up, and like I hate like trying to hope my opponent messes up. I'd rather just like get like a real grab. Also, you can just potentially just space around a move as another type of grab setup. Like instead of doing a wave dash back, let's say you do like a full hop back air and Fox does the short hop Nair. You do a full hop back air, land right here, right where you basically would have wave dash anyways, and then just turn around grab. That's like another setup. As well, like whenever you're like basically playing neutral against anyone, some matchups differ in terms of the neutral, obviously. But a lot of the time, Puff wants to use back air because it's her best move in general. So Puff will use back air a bunch. So the other character would be like, oh my god, Puff is using back air, and I'm just getting hit in the face with back air over and over again. So that means that I have to start using shield. And then you can start using empty land grab instead of using back air, which is the classic Hungrybox move.
Right.
So that's like the three like main ways to get a grab. Like this type of grab and shield grabs are like not the best for sure.
Yeah.
Better options. Yeah, like this spot would have been pretty good for like an up air instead of going for like these like back air stuff.
Okay. Like here?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's like I would have just waited for him to land on the platform, then just done a rising up air. That would have worked. In general, how it works, jumping on a shield with Puff like this is pretty like bad because of how slow she is again. She's a frame 5 jump squat, and then also she has to get an aerial out. Her fastest aerial is frame 5. So she has to wait 10 frames to be able to do anything here. And against most characters, that just isn't enough. Besides like literally rest out of shield, out of a jump, she has like nothing to get out of shield, unfortunately.
Okay.
Most of the times you want to be jumping out of shield is to whiff punish someone. So let's say Falcon like crosses up your shield with like a Nair, and that's just what he does. And then you can back air out of shield his Nair. That's like one example of like a whiff punish or something like that. Falco, the same thing. Like Falco just like runs through your shield with a down air, then you just back air at a shield. That's like another situation that come up a lot.
Yep.
But they can sometimes get up shield, and that's where you do like an empty land mix up instead of doing like a back air, for example. And then yeah, in terms of like out of shield stuff, it's more about either sitting in shield and basically trying to get them to be doing like this type of forward smash on shield and then resting on a shield that if they don't bite on those types of situations. But also in terms of like forward smash and stuff, I'm surprised that Falco did it this percent. It's just very risky. I guess the Falco just doesn't really know the Puff matchup that well. But it's kind of percent dependent whether they use these like riskier options or not. When they're at higher percents, like they're like 100 plus, they will use like forward smash more or something like that, or like Fox out smash on shield. Or when you're at higher percent, they will use these same options. So it's like a lot of out of shield game with Puff is like recognizing like, oh, okay, they're more likely to use like forward smash or up smash here. So I could try to sustain shield right now and then click rest out of shield when they do it. Or like they're less likely to do it and they're going to use like a downer on my shield and do like downer shine or something like that. Then I just roll out of the downer pressure, or I wave dash out of shield before the downer comes out, which you don't really do. Like at least you didn't do it in this game at all. Like you didn't do like wave dash out of shield, which is like really, really, really good in like a lot of matchups. So I'd recommend practicing that. A lot of applications. It's more about like you get hit on shield than just wave dash because roll is very laggy, and wave dash gives you the opportunity to like, let's say like Fox full hops on your shield and goes to like a falling aerial on shield. You just wave dash out of shield out of the way and turn around grab after the aerial's done. It's like a pretty classic example. In general, I also do not like coming back to stage with forward air. That's just like a rule of thumb. And sometimes forward air is the right move, like just recovering like this, but usually it's not. because forward air is lasts a lot longer than back air, so you're going to be falling further vertically, and that's not really good. And you're also going to be in lag, so you can't really grab the edge as fast. Is a big thing also too. So I always like to be turning around here and going for back air a bunch. Also, back air is just a lot easier to like use your drift with. So I just prefer using back air in this spot as well. If you were just trying to get height though, in this spot you have the height, so you're not really worried about like verticality. So I would just be using just jump to get height, or just like jump pound or something like that to get height on your opponent.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this is like why you stopped using pound as much in these games is my guess. These types of pounds, and they'll just this pound again. These pounds are not good. They're like a very puff habit for sure at low level.
That one that was probably pretty problematic on my end.
Yeah, I remember being told this when I was pretty bad, and I was like, man, it's so obvious. Once like someone's like, yeah, it's so bad. It's basically the risk reward here is never good. It's kind of what I was saying in terms of shield grab, where people are getting too good, or this type of mix-up does not work anymore, or the risk reward is worse. So the first time it hit, it was just nice, but and you could have gotten a kill off it, but this time it did not hit, and you just got backered. This sequence against like any like top 500 player is never going to work anymore. So it's risk reward is just going down more and more and more. Basically, instead of doing the pound, then you have to do a real mix-up. In the corner, you're not really looking to get a hit. You're more looking to just kind of safely maneuver around the stage and try and get them to commit to something, so then you can like sneak around them or try and like falling up air a lot of the time is what happens in the corner. Or like if they throw out like a really hard commit move like a Fox up smash, something like that, then you can whip punish that. But yeah, it's more about if you don't have to throw out moves, then you don't really should not throw out moves. And then just mixing up your like ledge options a lot, not using like this type of pound.
Okay.
Just
so you mostly just want to reset neutral, I guess.
yeah, it's resetting neutral. Like Puff has the privilege of basically being able to reset neutral like as your main like kind of thing in a lot of situations, whereas other characters don't really have that privilege of being able to just pick their spots a lot in their neutral. But so yeah, Puff wants to get into good spots and avoid bad spots as much as possible, and pounding like that keeps putting yourself in a bad spot. Okay, yeah, again, I didn't like this is another like jump out of shield type of thing. And this wasn't like whiff punishing anything, so this like backer doesn't really work. Whenever you whiff like a move in general, you have to throw out like a few things. So some people, when you whiff a move, will immediately try and hit you. So this Falco did that as well. So in order to beat that type of gameplay, you can do like a forward smash, an up smash. You can try and grab, and those are like your main type of situations to deal with people like that. This type of gameplay of him immediately trying to nair you after whiffing a back air is like the level 1 stuff. Usually people will kind of recognize that they cannot get a hit on you and just not do this type of nair, because if you shielded, as another mix-up right here, he would not be able to get a nair on you, right? He would just hit your shield with nair, and then it's kind of a bad spot for Falco. He doesn't really get a solid, he probably will not get a solid like pressure on your shield and probably get shield grabbed. So that just wouldn't be good. So in general, you have that first type of situation. Good players usually will not fall for like doing like a back air and then covering yourself with like up smash, up tilt, forward smash, grab. Good players will usually not fall for that. They'll be like, oh, okay, I'm outside of the range of his move, but I probably can't directly whiff punish him. Which is kind of a cool thing about Puff's auto cancel back air, is that you can't really get whiff punished as easily. Unless they're playing like Fox or something, which like has the privilege a lot of the time to whiff punish you. Yeah. So that's one situation. Shield is the other one. If you think that they're going to maybe hard commit on your shield, so like let's say they have their Fox and they can run up smash you before you can get like an up smash of your own out or something like that, then you would throw out shield and then that would cover up smash. But it wouldn't cover them going for like shield pressure, which in that case, you don't really want to be stuck in shield and get shield pressured over and over again and potentially getting like shine grabbed or something like that. So then you'd want to be rolling as your first option. So those are like the main situations here.
Shielding, you mean?
Before, like even before shielding, you would just not choose shield at all. You just roll. So yeah, those are like the three main situations. There's another like fourth one where you could do like full hop auto cancel back air as your as another one. It's kind of a covering yourself similar to up smash and like forward smash and stuff like that, but it's more of a insanely defensive one, whereas the other ones are very risk reward wise based, whereas the back air maybe you can just avoid any interaction sometimes against like Peach or something. Like a full hop back air away would be a pretty good option when you whiff an aerial or something like that, because it's hard for her to like reach you. Falco might have also worked against Falco, but the problem is you still have to get through 5 frames jump squat, and then you have to get a backer out. So in this spot, I don't think you would have had that option. But yeah, those are like the main situations when you whiff like any type of aerial in the game. Like yeah, you just like shouldn't have gotten just like hit by like a Nair there. That just should not have happened, really. Okay. Yeah, like this type of like Nair just like doesn't really make sense, and again because it's like not auto canceled, so you can't really get like a grab off it, and also it doesn't knock down at 51%. I don't think it knocks down to like 75. So in this spot, I'd be going for like a back air or something like that to get a knockdown, because that opens up at around 35% against Falco, so that'd be good here. You could still go for. I actually like going for this type of jump read. If it was an auto cancel Nair, sometimes they will go for this jump. So this is good. In terms of going for jump reads like this after hitting someone with a move that doesn't knock down, which is what you did. So I don't know if you're like really actively thinking about it, but this is a really good mix up against in a lot of situations. This mix up is better against certain characters. I would say against like Marth, Falcon, Sheik. Against those characters, they don't really like to be sitting in shield against Puff, because you can just crouch under their shield grab, and they don't like that at all.
Yeah.
So they have limited options, and you could like potentially get a grab on them and then like tech chase them onto the platform and arrest them. So they don't really like being in shield against Puff ever. Whereas the other characters like Falco and Fox, they can grab you when they're shielding. They can also shine out a shield. So it's a lot easier for them to get a shield versus you. Whereas the other characters like to jump because they don't want to be even in that situation at all. Yeah, so yeah. I do like this mix up, just not really that much against Falco. Okay. Good back here. I don't like doing like, if this was at a Falco at like 120%, this Nair is good because it'll send off stage. But I would rather just call out a jump with like a forward air here. And that would be better. And also you did like kind of a short hop. If I'm doing a Nair, trying to catch like a jump out of the corner, or trying to catch like a dash out of the corner too, I'll be doing like a full hop one to be able to get the jump, because Nair doesn't have that much like verticality in terms of the hitbox. So it's more about, you have to be usually using a full hop.
But you mean still full hop Nair or full hop?
Whenever I'm using full hop Nair in the corner, it's going to be with a full hop, not a short hop. But in this spot, yeah, I would rather be using a fair here, because Nair again is not going to knock down at this percent. So I'm using moves that knock down instead of tumble.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, in terms of corner, sometimes the higher level you get, they will hold down a lot. So sometimes the fair and stuff like that won't even work, because they'll just hold down after the fair and just slide off the ledge, and then you have to play the situation again. To avoid that type of situation with Puff, basically the meta is now you have to go for a lot of grabs in the corner. Again, if they are jumping, it won't work, because you can't grab their jump. You kind of can sometimes, but in this spot, because you knew the Falco is going to jump, doesn't work. So it's just, you could have also maybe gone for a dash deck, that might have worked too. But once you catch their jump enough, they will start to not jump, which is nice. then you can start going for grabs, which is the best situation because you can throw them off stage and they can't slide off the ledge off a grab. So that's like my ultimate situation when I'm in the corner. I'm trying to get a grab to throw them off stage, especially when I'm playing against Sheik, because once I throw a Sheik off stage, then she potentially dies. Falco, same thing as well too. A lot of characters. I would just rather be grabbing them in the corner than trying to get a jump read. But in the spot, he was jumping, so. I feel like a lot of your drift when you're doing these types of like, this is not a nothing back air. This is trying to make space for yourself. So this is completely fine gameplay. But you do a lot of like shallow drifts or like drifts with not a lot of full drift on it. Whenever I'm trying to do like these types of back airs, I have two objectives. Either I am way up here and I'm doing these types of back airs that you're doing, which don't have a lot of drift on them, because I want to try and get Falco to jump at me and then I just weave out of the way and then I just like get around them. That's like kind of what this type of back air that you do right here is like accomplishing, is trying to get them hit you. But you don't want Falco to try and hit you right now because you don't have a lot of like you don't have a lot of space to go to. You have the ledge and then you have off stage even further without jumps. So it's pretty bad to be doing these types of like not full drift on your aerials. But you don't want to full drift in. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you want to use like your maximum drift when drifting out, so you can get more distance off your jump. So you don't have to keep jumping over and over again to accomplish the same goal, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So yeah, that's just like an important thing. It's just like when you can use the max drift is usually like the best case scenario. There's like the differing your drift is more about like how to describe it. You want to like land in a certain spot, so like you won't use like your full drift because you know that if you use your full drift, then you won't land in the spot you want to. Like you'll land too far away or something like that. But in this spot, you want to be using your full drift to try and get Falco to basically lose space, because you just want to get hit by a full range back air. But you're not doing the full range back air, so he's feeling more confident to come and get you essentially. In this spot, basically try and react. It's net play, so I'm not gonna like fault you too hard on this. But in this spot, try and react to this and wait for a side B and then go for the Nair. But in general, you can just do the short hop here and then click fair or Nair. If a side B comes out, and if it doesn't, then you can just run off stage. Or if you're still in the air, then just fall on top of them with the fair. That's just like edge guarding. Kind of 101 versus Fox and Falco is just like use a short hop or a full hop depending on distance and reaction, and then click fair or Nair.
Okay, that's pretty nice to hear that from you, because I was wondering how to read both.
Yeah.
I always struggle because I'm like I have time to react if he up B, but I feel like I'll always have to call it out if he side Bs instead.
Yeah, okay, so in terms of edge guarding in general, so this edge guard, wait, where is it? Let me go back. So this edge guard, I would say it's borderline between you have to read and you have to not read. So the further the Falco is either in lag or further that he's off stage, that means the more time you have to go for a reaction rather than a read. Yeah. So if Falco was like at 40% and he was right here, you do not have a lot of time in order to get a read. To get a reaction, because he's not going to be enough hits done for you to set up a reaction time. Whereas because he's at 95%, you basically have enough time to set up a reaction. So the higher percent he is at, and basically the higher like the distance he is away from the stage, means that you have more time to get for reaction. So that's just like in general in terms of every recovery in the game. And also like in this situation, in terms of hard reads, yeah, you basically only go them for at lower percents and if they have lower distance. And in terms of some characters, you don't want to really hard read that much. Against Falco, I don't like hard reading as much off stage, because when I hard read off stage, then I could potentially get hit by side B, and if I'm not ready for it, I could die. I can get hit by a ledge hop. I can get hit by literally him going for a downer here, and I full hop off, and I just die from a downer if I'm at like 20% even. So like that can happen, and you have to like calculate that in if like the hard read is worth jumping off stage for. Like sometimes that's just like how how it works, or like you want a hard read on stage instead as well too. But yeah, that's kind of how like hard read versus reaction works in terms of edge guarding. Yeah, like right there, I probably would have been able to just react. I would probably sat on stage though, just because it was really awkward of an edge guard. Maybe you could have comboed fair, maybe, but it was close.
Yep.
Yeah, I like Nair at this percent because it knocks down. That was really fun.
Yeah, now that you say it, I noticed it.
Yeah, like if he could recover right there, that would be like a really easy reaction. Like you're just like Fox. Yeah, like right there, that's also another good up air spot. It's like you're just waiting around, waiting to see what he does. Again, I don't really like it too much against Falco, this type of gameplay, just because he has a very easy time vertically getting to you. But once he was his forward smash, I'm like, oh, okay, that's a free up air. If you were like reacting, and also because of the fact that he was on top of you, I'd rather be going for up air here instead of trying to like hit up back here. Yeah, again, you went for like a Nair type of situation when it's not gonna like knock down, or like go for like an auto cancel Nair. Yeah, like in terms of like neutral in that spot, like you could have gone for like, again, like I'm saying, like a bait neutral, like a wave dash back or something like that, expecting him to go for like an aerial at you, and then whiffing. You could go for like a full like a jump backwards, doing the same thing. Another bait. You could go for like an aggressive approach, expecting him to like just start dashing at you and going for like a down air, and then you just go for a back air, stuffing at his dash. You can try and call it a jump with an up air. It doesn't knock down yet, but it puts him in a bad spot, essentially. And then you could potentially, once you get that back air, up air, then you can start going for pounds. It's like kind of important. Like going for like a Nair, obviously, like, isn't like neutral, whereas the other things are like trying to like build towards something. Okay. It's like you had the idea, I think, of wave dash back here, but you're just way too far to be able to get anything here. This is what this was kind of similar to the other grab you did earlier, where you kind of threw out a grab and he had so much time. Because he has so much time here, I have to expect dash back is really interesting as an option. I don't know why he did that, but I guess dash back at this level, I guess it's an option. So if I'm expecting him to dash back, then I just throw out an aerial. I just jump at him and throw out an aerial, and I'll hit his dash back. That's the worst option because that's reactable. The other ones are not reactable. That was really good recovery. That was really good. He just kind of weaves around his hitbox. Against Falco, it's kind of scary to do these types of like full cross up, but whenever you pick like a high recovery like this, just full commit it like you did here. Just like don't really second guess like going back into the corner, because you just kind of lose any initiative by trying to cross them up in general. Like you got lucky essentially by crossing a Falco, but it was really good. Okay. That was an interesting dash attack, but again, percents wise, it doesn't knock down until I think 30% against, at least against Fox. I think it's probably the same percent against Falco. Usually Fox and Falco percents are like one off, if anything. So it's like probably 31% against Falco. So instead of doing dash attack there, I'd have probably just gone for another like short hop back air and just continued pressure. Maybe he puts up shield after the second short hop back air. Then instead of doing a third back air, then I can get for a tomahawk grab. Feeling grab. Okay. What did I say? In general, wave dash in is very laggy with Puff. Puff's wave dash is good, but it's very laggy.
Okay.
So it's a committal option. Basically, the only time you want to wave dash forward is when you're crossing someone up. So if you think that this wave dash was going to cross him up, then I guess it wasn't a bad option if that's what you were thinking was going to happen. But yeah, you kind of have to know it's a hard read type of option, which like Against Falco, I think it's pretty good to use a wave dash through him, but this wave dash did not go through him, so it did not really work out. Against like Fox or something, do not go for this. Really, it's kind of insanely risky because if Fox decides like, you know, I'm not gonna go for an approach, I'm just gonna dash chance, then you just wave dash forward, and he's like, oh, that's a free hit on buff, and just like runs above smash you, and that happens a lot. With another pound in the corner. Like, that Falco was being really weird there. Just, like, got stuck in Shine. But, yeah, that wasn't... I think they could have still even gotten out of that. Maybe a shield or something. That was a good grab. No, that was a good backer. That was really good. Okay, that was a fine way to deal with invincibility against, I guess, Falco in particular, because he doesn't have a solid kill confirmed off a throw. It's like you can SDI his lasers, basically, so it's hard to, like, actually get killed by him. But, in general, I like to get ledge, in a lot of matchups, and then, like, kind of throwing out back airs in spots, and, like, not using too many jumps, but also, like, making it hard for the character to hit me, whereas, like, being on the ground like that, you don't have as many, like, drift potential, and, like, you're not, like, able to avoid every hit. So I'd rather just be
so
on
you just go grab ledge.
Yeah.
Until the invincibility's gone.
Yeah, like, grab ledge, use tournament winner to get high up here, and stuff like that. Like, those are, like, some of the options I would use. Sometimes I go for, like, really aggressive, like, invincibility plays against some characters. I like tournament winner through them, and they have to, like, hard read that. Like, against, like, Jigglypuff in the Ditto, I do that a lot, because it forces a hard read option, and it's just, like, it's really hard to cover, like, against Peach.
Is tournament winner a good recovery option for Puff?
Yeah, it's...
I've heard a couple people talk about tournament winner when they're talking about Puff.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised at first, but it seems to be coming back every now and then.
Yeah, it's worse when you're a higher percent because you get a worse tournament winner. Like at over 100, you get a worse tournament winner, so it's not as good. But like below 100, it's really good because you can go for a tournament winner in, and you literally land right here with your tournament winner in, and you can wave land onto the platform. And if they're like here, you just got a free recovery off of just one input, and it's so nice. Because if you try to like do like a back air, just like take space like you were doing earlier, right? Yeah. It's like you can still do that, but it takes way longer than doing a tournament winner in. So it's a really fast like recovery option. But also you can do a tournament winner back, which is way better because you risk nothing doing this tournament winner back. And also you gain a lot of height off of it, and it allows you to like use like as little jumps as possible to basically maneuver around, and like you can go high off of a tournament winner back essentially and cross them up. You can try and get them to like run up air you with Fox and then just weave around them because you're so high in the air with a lot of jumps, so you have a lot of more drift. So yeah, the tournament winner is really good. I like to sing grab ledge. That was really good. Okay. Right here, like in this spot, I'd probably just be trying to be aggressive, like right here. I have center stage basically against Falco or any character here, so I'm going to be trying to like, against some characters I want to wave land off the platform or shield drop off the platform, depends which characters. Some characters I want to jump off the platform, which mainly is Falco. I like jumping off the platform as an approach versus Falco because Waveland puts me in too much commit, and I don't have to be that fast against Falco because its dash speed sucks. Whereas like Fox's dash speed is so fast that I have to be very committal, so I have to go for like Wavelands off the platform to be fast enough to catch him. So I like to jump off the platform here and see what Falco does. If you jumped off the platform and then potentially threw out a back air there, you could have hit him. He did the weirdest like laser into center stage backwards, so you could have just hit that for free if you just jumped off the platform or Waveland off the platform with a back air. Now that's basically what I'm looking for right now. It's like doing this type of like nothing gameplay again when you're at high percent isn't as good because at this high percent, because you die to a back air, up air, you potentially even die to forward air with bad DI. You potentially die to Nair with bad DI as well too. So you die to aerials at this percent, which isn't good when you're trying to like jump around and do like kind of nothing gameplay. So you'll see Hbox like jump around on platforms a lot, right too, which like is good when you're at like 70% because then you can't die to an aerial directly, but you have the option to whiff punish them for trying to hit you, and like it's fine because you won't die to their aerials, so the risk reward there is pretty good. But the risk reward when you're jumping around at this percent is you get a backer on them, probably is like that's it, and you die to a backer. So it's like a 1-for-1 trade. Whereas like you could take 3 backers at 70% and still like get that 1 backer. So that's like completely different, and it's a lot easier for like you to get hit by backer at that percent than to get a backer if the Falco is playing very reserved or whatever character.
Okay, so then how do you approach, or how do you switch your mindset when you're at that high percent with buff?
Yeah, it's at this percent, it's like one of 2 things. I'm trying to get a very high risk, high reward option. Basically, I'm going to do that type of backer in the center and maybe try and go for a backer grab. I could also be going for Nairs, which is really high risk, high reward, because Nair is pretty easy to punish if it whiffs. Also, sometimes you get up tilted for it. Like if he does like wave dash up tilt in the center, I go for a full hop Nair, I lose. So that'll happen a lot too. So I'm going for moves that basically get me high reward, or I'm on the ground and trying to like wave dash back and try and get a grab. That's another high reward option. So doing like low reward options, which is like jumping around here and trying to get a backer on my opponent or like whiff punish them, is like not as good at like very high percents. Whereas like again, if it was at 70%, if I was at 70% here, this is completely fine against like Fox. I don't really like, again, I don't like it as much versus Falco because his jump is just too good. Falco is the one character this is like, this gameplay sucks. You kind of have to just like spam higher risk, like high reward options a lot against Falco based on what percent he's at. Like, I need to get a grab right now, or I need to get like a Nair grab right now, back air grab right now, you know. Wow, that's crazy. You literally did.
That's pretty much what you just said.
Oh my god, that was awesome. This is actually insane. You could have done this a little bit better, like done like completely drift in with this back air, and then like did it very late to try and get Sakurai grab. That's like kind of how it works at 0%. It's kind of similar to Nair grab.
What grab?
Sakurai angle. It's like a mechanic where basically at like low percent, the game messes up and makes like the angle of the move kind of like a shine in some ways. Similar to shine.
I need to call this Sakurai.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's sometimes the melee naming jargon is really weird. But yeah, you could potentially get a back air grab like you did here, but you did it very like early, so it didn't really combo. And also you kind of like tried to space it, which isn't really what you do with it. You kind of just like do it like fully commit with it, and then just if it misses because they potentially can jump out of it or shine you, whatever, who cares? You potentially could have killed them off of it, so that's completely fine. Like yeah, he did like the counterplay of jump, whereas if you did it very late, he might not have been able to get a jump there. And then you get it, you just shield. That was great. And then you go for a shield grab. Oh man.
I knew you might. Let's see that again.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have tried it. So.
In general, obviously rest is the best thing to do after getting this up throw here. You can go for an up air tech trap as well too. So you have either up air or tech chase rest, either one. What were you about to say?
Well, just that at these percent, I think yeah, if he doesn't tech, well, if you miss tech, rest works, but then if he techs, then it doesn't work. So yeah, I have to do the tech chase.
Yeah.
Thing instead, which is not what I had to read when at first after I saw the percentage, I was like, okay, fuck, I can't just
yeah.
Rest.
At this level, I definitely would just be clicking up air and just making them respect that they have to hit the tech on the up air first. You'll even see Hungrybox do the up air against really top level players, and like he's like basically like, yo, are you ready to tech it today? And if they're like, I'm gonna tech it today, then you just stop doing the up air. It's nice though, because even if you do the up air and they tech it, you can still get a tech chase rest. It's harder to do it than just going for no up air and then going for a tech chase rest right off of it. But it's still possible, which is the best thing about this tech trap in general. It's not even really a 50-50. In a lot of situations, it's almost like you get a kill no matter what if you're the best player in the world at tech chasing.
Can we just I'm just so I'm sure exactly what the tech trap is. So if I understand it good, is well, you do the up throw, obviously.
Yeah.
Then you have to kind of read either he's gonna tech or not at first, or you can decide if you go for the up air and then just punish the miss tech. Is that something around that? I think.
Yeah, generally it's like basically they have to either tech the up air or they have to tech getting onto the platform in general. So if you go for an up air, they will be locked and they go for a tech and hit it, then that's good. But if you don't go for the up air and they go for a tech expecting an up air, then they are going to be locked out of the tech for 40 frames and not being able to tech onto the platform, and they will miss the tech and you can rest them. That's how the tech trap works. Basically, it's just whenever you go for a tech in melee, you're locked out for 40 frames before going for another tech. So sometimes, like, when you ever get, like, stage spiked or something like that, it's probably because you're locked out of your tech, is basically how it works.
Okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
I didn't know the part that you would be stuck for 40 frames if you try to tick. Okay, that's why.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, if you've ever seen Hbox versus Marth, when he's edge guarding like Zane or something, and he goes for like forward air, and he stage spikes them, it's basically because they're locked out of the tech, because you can kind of mix up when you go for strong forward air or not, and then they don't know when they're going to be hit against the wall, and it's just really good in terms of that. But yeah, that's how the tech trap works.
Nice.
And you could have still hit him here if you gone for a waveland grab instead of going for like a land on the platform then grab. It's kind of a low percent flow chart where you have to like waveland to a tech roll at like 0% because up throw directly into rest is like gonna kill at 0 against like Fox and Falco. So you kind of have to do this type of flow chart. But yeah.
But that's still a read, though.
Yeah, it's still a read because if they tech in place, you cannot up throw waveland grab tech in place on reaction. It's impossible. Yeah. I mean, it's technically possible on some stages, but it's insanely hard that you just have to rest the no tech. I mean, the tech in place.
So it's a bit out of the subject or out of the game, but while we're talking about RTCs, I was just wondering, is like let's say RTC rest, for instance, is that a real read, or do you, a real reaction, or do you have to take in consideration like your opponent's habits also?
So
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. So on some stages you have to read because of the distance of the platforms and also to yourself. Like let's say we're on Dreamland and you're like, this is where you are, and you are up throwing Fox or something like that, and they land on this platform on the right side of Dreamland. It's gonna be really hard to actually get a consistent reaction. It's like almost impossible because of the distance between you and the platform to actually get a reaction, so you have to hard read their option. Or sometimes you can't even hit the tech away with a rest on a hard read, so you have to like potentially try and waveland grab, and even that might not work.
Yeah.
So on stages like Dreamland, usually the reaction is not guaranteed because of the distance, or just in general, sometimes it will just happen. You can't get a full reaction because you're just too far away. You need time to be able to react. Like the easiest reaction time should be like either you're in center stage or like right here and they land on this platform, or the Cat Falco's right here, you're right here, and you up there and they land on this platform. Those should be like actually guaranteed reaction times. Yeah, I say guaranteed, but sometimes I am down to click reads because they will just always click the one option. Like, let's say you're playing against a Fox and they tech roll in every single time because they're trying to hit a slide off on your up air. So you go for up air instead of going for up throw tech chase rest. You go for the up air. They slide off because they are rolling, and that's how slide off works. They're trying to hit the edge and then slide off on the ledge after the up air. So if I know the Fox is gonna do that, I'm just not gonna reaction. I'm just gonna jump towards them, make it kind of look like I might up air, and then just jump and rest tech roll in. Hard read. Okay. So yeah, I do factor like player habits in a lot, and that's just kind of how it works. It's like Hungrybox does the same thing. I think that's probably the optimal way to do it, even though it's kind of silly because it's really hard to react to every option. Like some people make it really like easy, but especially in the heat of tournament, it's not like that easy to consistently like rest every option. So I'm down to hard read.
Yeah.
I shouldn't really be saying as advice necessarily, because like, yeah, maybe like you're the best reaction time player in the world, and you can like you have like a 2-frame reaction time, you can like get it easily. But for me, like on the average human reaction time, I think it's better to like mix in reads eventually.
Right.
Okay. That shell grab worked, but I didn't really like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I don't really think that this type of option really made sense in the Falco ends, and also like I think you could have just like potentially gotten in the way here with a better spacing, better timing, but
Yeah, I figured these type of shield grab work because I'm playing it at low levels.
yeah, this
I know like I never see shield grabs when I watch you play, or when I watch like solo battle or
yeah.
Hbox, of course. Well,
Yeah.
no, actually Hbox goes for it.
Yeah, like I was saying, the Hbox does go for these shield grabs, but like, it's kind of like the Hbox effect, where people are more likely to mess up against him because he just exudes so much pressure, and they're like, I don't have that many openings versus Hbox because he's so good at just like not getting hit when he doesn't want to get hit. So then they just miss their L cancel because they're just so pressured when they hit their final one opening. It's kind of annoying. It's just how it works when you're the best player in the world for like 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not like actively trying to like hit him. Like really, you're trying to just control space. Which, like I'm saying earlier, like this type of backer is fine. I'm not like hating on it too hard, but you're giving up space while you're doing it. And if you only do these types of backers as your like main like opener at 0, instead of doing like the backer like grab stuff you tried to do earlier, but that was it because they were high percent, so you're like I'm just gonna throw it out and just see if it works. And that was really good at that percent. You can still do that at this percent because you don't die off of it even if you miss, so I'm completely down to go for that right now. Or just doing more aggressive backers in general, just like doing like a short hop towards him and then doing a delayed back air, expecting him to just sit in place with a laser, catching the laser, putting him in shield after because he doesn't want to hit by the next backer, then go for tomahawk grab again, and then that would be really good. Like just trying to like get like really like good mix-ups going, because you want to get a grab with this percent obviously, because you can't knock down with anything percent wise besides grab. Okay. I like the turnaround. The pound again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one is just like literally just grab ledge and you're all good.
Yeah.
Another one. That one was crazy. That worked. Okay. I was really good. That worked. That was crazy.
Is that again back here turn around grab?
Yeah. It's a different grab, but this works. This was good because, like I was talking earlier, Falco does not want to jump that much comparatively to the other characters I'm mentioning, like Marth, Falcon, Sheik. So they're going to want to shield a lot after getting hit by back air. So this is just a really crazy read. This was very good. It was a little slow though, so you should definitely work on your grab timings. Like this, you got a dash grab here, so you missed your jump cancel grab. So if they were really like cognizant, like, and they were reacting to you here, they could have potentially spot dodge here, and they just spot dodge shine. So definitely work on your grabs. Like what I mean by that is like you go for like just pretend you're going for like an empty land grab on someone, and go for like empty land fast fall turnaround grab, and just do that like 10 times in a row, and just see if you can like not get a dash grab either. And then like in these spots too, like when you're doing your turnarounds, just make sure you're not getting dash grab. It's just like anytime you get dash grab, you'll see Hungrybox with jump cancel grab and like get away with it, but anytime you get a jump cancel grab too, you also give them the opportunity to like get better DI and up throw as well too. So it's not great for sure.
Okay. Yeah, well, I'm gonna start working on jump cancel jump cancel grab then. I haven't even implemented that in my game yet. So.
Yeah, that's a pretty big one. Okay, let me think. In terms of like what I'd work on after from this lesson, the percents is pretty big for sure. So I would just like, are you in the Puff Discord?
Oh yes, I am.
Yeah, I think there should be the Puff Bible in there, which should have percents. There's probably also a spreadsheet with percents there too. Basically, there's like, like I was saying, I don't know every percent. It's like there's only like some necessary percents, right? So like against Fox, I need to know basically every percent of that matchup. Like I want to know when I die to up throw up air. I want to know when I die to jab up smash. I want to know when I'm going to knock down with up air, 17%.
Yeah.
I want to know when I'm knocking down with back air, stuff like that. And then like doing that with basically like most of the common matchups. So I'm not really gonna do it against Luigi. I kind of know like only one thing. I know like I know it can't crouch cancel over S after 34% against Luigi. That's literally the only percent I know. So yeah, like that's really important for sure. That type of like foundation stuff is just insanely important with Puff.
Okay.
Also, yeah, practicing L cancels more, because I would probably say a good percent for L cancels is like at least like 80%. That's like my like lowest in like 50 games. If I have 80% in 50 games, like I'm okay with that.
The thing is, like when I go to the L cancel practice in Knuckle Punch,
Yeah.
I do have a pretty decent percentage, even though I put the targets and the movement targets as well.
Yeah.
But as soon as I get into a game, yeah, I know it goes down pretty much. So yeah.
Yeah, that's basically how it works with like anything in Melee, where you're gonna hit it a lot more in practice than in friendlies.
Yeah.
But yeah, the more you hit it in practice, the more you hit it in friendlies, then the more you hit it in tournament. It's like big three. So yeah, those are two things. And then using up air, you didn't use down air a single time, so both of those moves I would just like try and get more comfortable with, just like throwing them out in games. And like obviously like I talked about like the up air in terms of like when to use it, and like try, like it's gonna be hard for you to cognizantly do that every single time, but just like throw it out and just be like, oh okay, I got hit here by doing an up air, like why did that happen, or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's pretty important. And then I think what else, down air is pretty complex, but in general how down air works is like you want to be using down air at when your opponent is at higher percents to try and link in the grab, rest, dash attack, forward smash, up smash. And that like lower percents you can kind of use down air, but it's a little bit too complex for me to like talk about in the in like a closing argument. But yeah, I think those are like the biggest things for sure. I'm trying to think of anything else. Do you have any other questions?
For now, I think I'm good. I already have a couple things that I wrote down and that I'm gonna be working on. Yeah, no, I think it's good. I got a couple things to work on, and yeah, I have a good idea to what to practice for the next couple days.
All right, cool. So
that's cool. Like I said, I might take a couple lessons more in the next couple weeks, I guess. Yeah, I'm gonna take the course on Metafy directly, but yeah, I might take a couple ones. But like it's just that I wouldn't do it like once a week.
Yeah.
It's still like a lot of information for me as a new player. So,
yeah, I would
be a bit overwhelming once a week, but every 2 to 4 weeks for me seems fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend at least taking 2 weeks at like minimum with the stuff I just said today, because it's a lot. Could take longer. But yeah, sounds good. And see you again soon.
Yeah, cool. Thank you very much.
Peace.
Have a good day.
You too.